So I'm in this building, right? And if you're looking at the building, on the left side, there's a bunch of hallways and doors to different things, almost like a doctor's office. I couldn't get through the doors, or I knew that the doors weren't going to lead anywhere, so I didn't go through them. To the right side of the building, there's a giant warehouse. Think of like a basketball court, gym sort of situation, except it's all concrete. There's windows at the very top of it, so it lets a little bit of light in. However, it's completely dark. And think of like a thrift store where there's a lot of things, but times that by 3. The right side of the warehouse, there's floor to ceiling shelves, like aisles, and they have stacked up books and clothing and basically stuff from a childhood. It's kind of like an attic where you keep all of the old childhood stuff that no one uses anymore. That's what's in this room. On the left side in the back, there would be tables. Imagine like a record store. And there are records on the tables. There's also books and magazines and toys. And then when you first walk in, on either side of you, there's just like you're going to Victoria's Secret, right? And there's like those giant bins of underwear. That's what this is like, but with just clothes. And that's what you see when you walk in. But we aren't allowed in there. I'm with 3 other people, and we all walk into this dark room where the light's shining down, but it's almost like it's nighttime. So it's like street lights shining down. But you can barely see anything, but you can still kind of make out where you're going. So I'm looking in, and I go to the left, and I'm over where the records are and the magazines. And I know that they're gonna find me. I don't know who they are, but I know they're going to find me. So I start to hide. I get in, I look at the records, and then I freak out and I start to hide. The other people are looking on the right side in the back, and they are looking at all the clothes and the toys and the aisles. I don't know who these people are. I didn't really get to see their faces, but I felt like I was close with them, like we had been through a lot together and we were in this together. So somebody comes through the door, and this man is my manager at my last job. He comes up to me and starts screaming at me to get out, and other people too, and we all have to leave. To get back out the door into the hallways, you have to pass this man that he brought in, and the man has a giant battle axe, and it kicks you out of the room and chokes you a little bit, but it doesn't hurt you if you just let it happen. So I'm walking out of the room, and the person, which I feel like was a guy, but I don't really know the gender, they've already gotten out, and I watched this happen to them. So I just have to go out, get this battle axe to basically grab me by the neck and shove me out of the room. And if I don't struggle, it won't hurt. So I struggled a little bit, but I just decided to let it go. And then once we all got through, they obviously were mad at us and wanted to punish us for some reason, like we were in prison or something. So we all start running. And I don't think I was running with everyone, but I specifically remember the first person that went out I had a connection with. Like I felt like this was my friend. And so I was following this person. And we start going through all the hallways. And the doors, we didn't go through any of the doors because we knew that you couldn't get through the doors or that they wouldn't lead to anything. We get to the opposite side of the building, I think, and then it completely changes the scene. Now the dream isn't even about me. the dream is about this boy. He's about 7 or 8 years old. I don't know his name, but I know what he looks like. He has brown hair, brown eyes. I want to say he was wearing jeans and maybe a blue shirt. And he stayed in the warehouse. So he was in this group, I believe, of going into the warehouse with me. What I'm seeing is kind of like a movie. Like the scenes change, the camera angle changes. So I see this little boy that I've never met before in real life. And he has, for months and months and months, been trying to find a way out of this prison or warehouse of some sort. So if you're looking straight onto the building and the warehouse is on the right side, he made a little opening on the side of the building, and he dug underneath, and he's been covering it up with a bunch of junk because that's basically what was in the warehouse, is junk anyway. And he's able to get through there and decides that today's the time he's gonna finally escape. So he escapes out, and whenever he escapes out, imagine the warehouse is behind you and you're looking on. So there's a road, a busy road, and then there's a steep hill, kind of like you're in the mountains. When he finally gets out of the warehouse, I see like a first person point of view. I am this little boy, and I'm looking straight on from his point of view, and it didn't feel like I was the boy, but it felt like that was the camera angle that I was seeing. So I look, and I'm able to see that there's a road, and I hear the cars going by, and it's extremely vivid, and it's about 5 o'clock in the evening. It's a little bit cloudy out, kind of like overcast, so it's a kind of dark, but it's still daylight outside. It's still have a lot of daylight left in the day. We have probably a couple hours of daylight. So looking straight on, there's a road, and then there's a hill, and there's a bunch of trees. It's a forest. And then I knew, or the little boy knew, that there were kids above the hill, and that there was a school, an elementary school, and they were all on recess, which doesn't make sense because it was 5 o'clock in the evening-ish, but this is just what I remember. Maybe they were at an after-school thing. So I hear them playing up there, and then it zooms out, and a little boy runs across the street and goes up the hill. So he gets to the kids, and then the scene changes again. I have escaped as well. I didn't know how I escaped, but I wasn't with my group of people anymore, and I am myself again. I don't know where the little boy is at this point, but then it just completely changes back to my life. So in my life, I get up to the top of the hill, and that's where my journey starts. So I'm at the top of the hill, and I think I need to run away from these people. There's no longer kids, there's no elementary school, there's another road, another small hill with no trees, and up at the top of the hill, I see a bar. So I go up to the bar, I go inside, and I'm like, they're never gonna find me in here because it's dark. So I walk in, and it's kind of like a restaurant setting at first. So there's this girl who's the host, and she's gorgeous. She has like she had dyed her hair kind of like an auburn purpley red color, maroon burgundy sort of color, and really like pretty ringlets, right? So I feel like I know this girl. I have a connection with her. For some reason, the bar is evacuated. And part of me thinks maybe it was evacuated because they were searching for me and possibly the little boy and maybe the other people I was with. I don't know. So remember how I said that there was a road and then a hill with no trees and then the bar was on top of the hill? For some reason we had to go down the hill on the curb of the road. But it was broad daylight. If I stood on the curb of the road, that anybody driving past would see me and tell the people that were locking me up that I had escaped. So this makes me think I had a warrant out for my arrest, or there was a reward for finding me and possibly the other people that possibly had escaped. And this girl was willing to help me, and we had created this bond that I felt like she was like just imagine like your best friend. Like that's who this girl was. Like soulmate, but like best friend soulmate. Do you know what I mean? So we have this awesome bond, and she is willing to help me and go through everything with me. So she's like, it's fine. We'll just take my car. We'll get away from the bar, and we'll take my car and we'll go to my house. So we get in her car, and it's an old car. Not a station wagon, but kind of that same boxy feel. It's kind of like the cars you would see in the old movies, and I don't know. But anyway, it looks like this. So we start driving, and she is driving, but I don't have any recollection of being in the car, right? I just remember we drove to Kmart. Kmart's not really around anymore in real life, but we drove to Kmart, and I needed to get plants for some reason. So we got some plants, don't know why, but we got plants, and then we left Kmart, and we were gonna go to her house, I think. And then it changed the scene again. So now she doesn't exist anymore. And I'm sitting in a small Waffle House looking like cafe sort of feel. It's not a Waffle House, but it's like an off-brand Waffle House sort of. So I'm sitting there with my actual best friend in real life, and then my boyfriend in real life, Cheyenne and Ricky. Sitting there with Cheyenne and Ricky in this booth, and I'm telling them about how these people are gonna find me. Well, they're like, it's fine, we'll keep you safe, right? So everybody in the cafe, for some reason, I felt like they all knew that I was wanted, and these people were top of the line. These people searching for me were top of the line, like FBI agent sort of level of being able to find people. So they come in, they storm in, and they're about to find me. So Cheyenne and Ricky, they hide me and they take me back to their car. Their car is the girl from before that I was best friends with's car. And that was kind of weird. And then we drive off. And that's the end of my dream.